everybody, welcome back, and if this is your first time, welcome. I'm Jane, and today we're going to do a printmaking project. Before we get started, I just want to remind you again that if you feel you have to pause or stop the video, that's fine. If you've forgotten some materials or if you need something else, please feel free to stop and then you can restart it. Not a problem. The video will be up on the channel, on my YouTube channel, forever. So I want to go over first the materials that you're going to need today. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need some regular computer paper, just, any old computer paper. And you're also going to need some paper that can handle paint or markers, and this is the paper that I have. The next things you're gonna need either a paint roller or you're gonna need the cardboard roll from paper towels, or I should say the cardboard tube from a roll of paper towels. You're also gonna need some kind of color. The color can either be watercolor, it can be markers, or it can be tempera paint. That's for the color part of this project. Now, you're also going to need some black paint. So you can either use tempera paint or you can use acrylic paint. I would suggest tempera because it doesn't stain. Acrylic, once it's there, it's there. The other things you're going to need some kind of black marker, either a thick Sharpie or a thinner one. You're going to need a pencil, and you're going to need one colored pencil. I would suggest something like red that you can see. And then you're also going to need some tape, some Scotch tape, just a very little bit. And you're also going to need some styrofoam. So there's lots of different styrofoam things you can use. This, I think, is a bakery tray. This is from meat or chicken, I think. This is part of a takeout box, styrofoam. And then a paper plate. You can use any of these things. So those are the materials you're going to need today, and I always have paper towels handy. Now I'm going to just clear off my surface so I can get ready to demonstrate how to do this. So let me just put this stuff over here quickly. And I'm going to keep handy what I'm going to need. I'll need the scissors. Let's get rid of the paint. But I'll need the markers. Okay, let's get rid of the styrofoam, all except for the paper plate. And then I'll keep the pencil and markers with me. Okay, so today we're going to, as I said before, do printmaking. Printmaking is a process where you make a picture on one thing and you transfer it to another. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to make something on the styrofoam and we're going to transfer it to paper. So I just want to show you some examples before we get started. One of the fun things about art making for me is that you can experiment and figure out what's best for a process. And I did a lot of experimentation before I decided on what we were going to do today. So my first experiment, this is the styrofoam, and I made some marks in the styrofoam. And I painted some paper, and then I printed on the paper. So let's see, how do I match this up? Okay, you can sort of see the X right here. That's the X right here. Now I did straight lines across. I did squiggles, I did a circle of different colors, I did a square of different colors, and then I did crazy lines. Now I think For the purpose of this project, what works best is simply striped paper. So let's get rid of all of these, and this is what we're going to be doing today. So let me show you another example, just so you can see more accurately what happens. The first thing I'm going to do is take a piece of styrofoam, and I'm going to make a drawing on the styrofoam. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Then you're going to put some ink or black, the tempera paint or acrylic paint on this, and you're going to print it on a piece of paper. So you can see it's just the opposite. Now the thing you want to remember, this is printing with the same plate but with no color. The thing you want to remember is you have to sort of work in reverse on this, where the drawing you make is not going to be black. The drawing you make is going to be whatever the background color is. And it's where you don't carve into the styrofoam, all here, that's going to be black. So you just have to think in reverse. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, the first thing is I just want to show you a comparison of the different kinds of color. This is marker, this is tempera paint, and this is watercolor. So you can see the watercolor is a little more washed out looking. The tempera paint has a painty look, and the markers have like a more vibrant look. So you can choose whichever you want. I would suggest the markers because you can do it and print on it immediately. If you do paint, you're gonna have to let it dry. So you're not gonna wanna, that's gonna take some time. So I'm gonna concentrate on the marker to begin with. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut some styrofoam. So I'm gonna take my scissors and just cut. I need a flat part of the styrofoam. I can't use the part of the plate that goes up or the part of a takeout container that goes up. I have to use the flat part. So I cut that out, and then, so this is what I have. I draw a rectangle or a square or any shape you want, and I cut that out. So now I have my printer's plate. So the styrofoam becomes the printer's plate. Now, before I do anything else, I want to prepare the paper. So I have, put this out of the way. I have a piece of paper. This is the paper that accepts marker and paint. This is not the computer paper, this is the other paper. And I have my piece of styrofoam. So I'm going to place my piece of styrofoam. I'm going to try to center this onto my piece of paper, and I'm going to trace it with a pencil. Whoops. Okay, so now it's traced. And once I have that traced, I'm going to make lines that go across. And then I'm going to fill this in with marker or paint, tempera paint or watercolors. Now I'm doing this according to the colors of the rainbow. You remember our old friend, the color wheel? So I'm going to start with yellow, then go to orange, then go to red, purple, blue, and green. So I'm going to get my markers, and I'm going to start filling in. First with yellow. So I'd fill this first one in with yellow, and I'd continue till I filled everything in. So you can see this is how it's going to look. So I start with yellow and I fill everything in, then I go to orange, then I go to red, purple, blue, green, and then I start repeating again. So now I've got the paper prepared, and it's time to prepare the styrofoam. So I have to think of a drawing first. And I learned through my experimentation that the best kind of drawing I can do has pretty open spaces so that I can see a lot of the color through these open spaces. So I just came up with a drawing that sort of looks like, either looks like oranges or it looks like flowers. I can either make an abstract drawing with just shapes and lines, or I can make a drawing of something specific. So I've made a drawing, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this drawing and I'm going to tape it on. Let's see my tape. Just take about 2 or 3 pieces of tape, and I'm going to tape it on to the styrofoam. So tape, tape, tape. Then what I'm going to do after I tape it so it doesn't come off, and I want to tape it carefully so it fits, I'm going to take that colored pencil that's red and that's kind of dull. I don't want a very sharp pencil because it's going to tear through the paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down hard and I'm going to trace my design. So I'm going to trace around the entire design all over the paper. So I've done that already on this one, and I take it off. And what you're going to see, you're not going to see these dark lines. You're going to see indentations. This is going to be really hard to see. I'll try to show you on this one. I don't think you really can see at all, but there's some indentations right here. Can you see those at all? And then what I did was I went over those indentations with a marker so I could really see them. Okay, so you're going to do that over the whole thing, and this is what you're going to end up with. Now what I'm going to do is go back to my marker. I go back to my colored pencil, and I'm going to color all of this in. Okay, so I'm coloring and I'm coloring, and eventually, now this is going to make a depression. So where I make this depression, the ink is not going to touch it, or I should say the tempera paint or the acrylic paint is not going to touch it. So I go all over this drawing until I finally had my plate finished. And if you could feel this, you would feel that there are indentations wherever the red is. So now I can get ready to print this. So it's going pretty quickly. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. There goes my pencil. And I'm going to put some newspaper down because we're now going to get to the messy part. We're going to get to the part with the black paint. So now is the time when I'm going to use my computer paper. I'm going to take a few pieces of computer paper. I'm just going to have a few handy. And I'm going to get my paint. Now, I'm going to be using acrylic paint. I'm going to be using tempera paint, not acrylic paint. Because again, tempera paint is washable, acrylic paint is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of computer paper and I'm going to make a line of paint. Now, I can either use the paper towel roll or I can use the paint roller. So what I'm going to do is roll the paper towel roll into the paint, And I can go several ways till I really cover this. And I don't want it, it's pretty thick right now, and I really don't want it this thick because it will get in the way. It'll get all over the plate in places you don't want it to be. So I can just take some of that paint off by going like that. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is on my printers, on the plate that I've made out of styrofoam, I'm gonna roll it. And I'm gonna roll all over to make sure it's totally covered. So now you can start to see how the red doesn't have any ink on it. And I really want to thoroughly coat this plate so there aren't any blank spaces. So the paint is on the background totally. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Be careful of this and be careful of the paint. Okay, so now what you've got is the plate that has the ink on it, or the paint. And I really want to be careful of this, that I don't put my arm in it. Now what I'm going to do, now you see I've already messed this up a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to very carefully put this down where I've painted, and I'm going to press it down, and I'm going to carefully turn it over so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to take something. I've been using actually one of these little paint bottles, the bottom of it, and I go over this, I smooth it out. I find that works really well for transferring the paint from the styrofoam plate onto this piece of paper. So now I'm going to carefully take it off, and you can see I've got a print. That was pretty cool, huh? So now you've got that flower print. Now I'm going to show you another one. This one is more abstract, you know, it's really shapes. Now I did one more that I'm really curious about. I want to see how it works. I did a spaceman and a spaceship. I did this drawing. And I want to put it on my styrofoam plate. So just like before, I put the picture on the plate, I tape it down, and then I trace it with the red pencil. I take this off, and then I fill in where I want to fill in. Okay, so now I'm going to try this one. And I will try this one using the roller so you can see the difference between the two. I don't know what you've got at home. The roller makes it look like the paint sits in the grooves, but it really doesn't. It doesn't print. So let me get the paint on this roller. I'm going to have to use a lot. Okay, so the paint is on here. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to put the paint on the roller. I'm going to put the paint on the plate. Okay, and let's now see if I can not get black paint on this. Okay, I'm going to put this down. Put the plate down. And then carefully turn it over so that it doesn't move. And again, take the top of this and kind of burnish the surface. Slide it over the surface so all the paint from the styrofoam gets on this backing sheet. Okay, now this is a big surprise. Let's see what we got. There. This one came out well. So this is the printing process. So we did one plate that looked like this, and you can see that it's always backwards. It's sort of flipped around. And then the other one we did is the flower. So I hope you had a good time today. Now, if you want to stay with me, there's going to be another video that's going to be a little bit more complex than this. It's going to be another print, but it's going to be what's called a radial print, and that means you do it in the round. So I'm going to post this video and stop now. And if you want to go on, you can go to the next video, which is going to be a radial print. So it was great to be with you today, and I would love to be able to see what you do. So if you're leaving me now, goodbye, and remember to always be kind, and you take care. Bye-bye.